So for Black History Month, we've been doing spotlights on Black excellence. Well, this past week, on the anniversary of Malcolm X's assassination, his family decided to sue the FBI, CIA, NYPD for their alleged role in his assassination. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to revisit that history, the conspiracy theories, and also talk about this lawsuit. All right. So Malcolm X was assassinated on February 21st, 1965, when he was just 39 years old. He was shot while preparing to give a speech at the Audubon Ballroom in New York City. For those that may not know who Malcolm X was, be surprised, but there's a few people out there who may not know. He was a Black religious leader, a spokesman for the Nation of Islam, and a civil rights activist who spoke about the need for Black empowerment and equality. But he believed the way to achieve equality was, as he says, by any means necessary. He felt to effect aggressive change, it required an aggressive approach. And he was definitely not a supporter of desegregation. So he was no doubt a controversial figure with both white and Black people, especially because his teachings were opposite to his counterpart, Martin Luther King Jr., who, of course, preached nonviolence and integration. But because of his rise to power in the Black community, the FBI and CIA saw him as a threat. And FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover had the FBI all over him, much like MLK before his assassination. I'm actually showing a document that J. Edgar Hoover signed. I recommend that authority be granted to install a technical surveillance at the residence of Malcolm X Little. Crazy. All right, so there's a lot of conspiracy theories behind why Malcolm X was assassinated. But here's what we do know. All right, a year before his assassination, Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam for several reasons. For one, he became disillusioned with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who was the leader of the Nation of Islam at the time. Malcolm claimed a lot of improprieties were going on, like illegitimate children, stealing money, etc. And what sparked him actually leaving was Malcolm went against a mandate from Elijah Muhammad to not speak about JFK's death, which led to Malcolm X's suspension and ultimately him choosing to leave altogether. Now, after leaving, Malcolm went to Africa and the Middle East to spend time with Muslims there. And he came back way more enlightened, right? And his teachings were very different after that. And he began speaking out against Elijah Muhammad. And that started to create a rift in the Nation of Islam. A lot of people claim that Elijah Muhammad ordered that Malcolm, quote, not be touched. But there were also rumors that he directly ordered a hit on Malcolm. Rumors that he was apparently aware of because a week before his death, his family was attacked with Molotov cocktails thrown in his window while they slept. In an interview with reporters, Malcolm said, "I live like a man who is already dead." So here's what happened on February 21st at the Audubon Ballroom in New York. Malcolm was greeted his audience. Malcolm greeted his audience from the podium. And there was a commotion in the back of the room. A man shouted, "Get your hands out of my pocket." That man lit a rolled up sock and threw the makeshift smoke bomb into the floor. Malcolm's security moved on the stage, deserting their post. Malcolm raised his arms and was like, now, brothers, break it up." Then one of the assassins rushed to the podium and shot Malcolm in the chest with a sawed-off shotgun. Malcolm fell. At the same time, two accomplices came to the edge of the stage and shot him in the ankle and both thighs. All three of them retreated into the crowd to escape. But one of his bodyguards managed to shoot one of them, Talmadge Hayer, who goes by Mujahid Abdul Halim. He was captured and later confessed to killing Malcolm X. He spent 45 years in prison and was released on parole in 2010. But Hayer insisted that the two men who were ultimately arrested and jailed as his accomplices, Malcolm Aziz and Khalil Islam, Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam. He claimed that they were innocent. Both were members of the Nation of Islam. Actually, in 1977, Heyer actually fingered 4 men by name who he said worked with him. And there were the 2 other gunmen and 2 other accomplices in the audience. But the police ultimately did nothing with that information. Now, as far as the 2 men who were wrongly convicted, Islam was paroled in 1987 and died in 2009. Aziz was paroled in 1985, and he's actually still alive. All right, so those are the facts. So why are we here? Why does Malcolm's daughters and attorney Benjamin Crump want to sue now, a half-century later? Well, in addition to all of the conspiracy theories that the FBI, CIA, NYPD both helped plan the attack and work to cover it up, well, in 2021, Aziz and Islam, the 2 people convicted of killing Malcolm, were exonerated and given a $36 million settlement because they found authorities held back evidence, including revealing that an undercover NYPD officer had infiltrated Malcolm's inner circle and that he was present for the murder. His role was kept secret and he was never interviewed. It's believed that they not only infiltrated Malcolm's inner circle, but also Elijah Muhammad's and the Nation of Islam, possibly actually orchestrating the assassination and the cover-up. So the exoneration opened the door to the family to file a lawsuit, get money, and potentially get further evidence on the role of the FBI, CIA, NYPD. All right, so after all of that, here's my question. Benjamin Crump is all over the place with these lawsuits related to civil rights violation, and he's making a ton of money on these settlements. Now, as much as is deserved by the daughters of Malcolm X, right? Very much deserved if they were to receive the $100 million, right? My question is, do you think they can actually prove the conspiracy? Will the lawsuit have any impact on civil rights today, or is this just headlines and a money grab?
I mean, I think it's a little more complicated than, I know why you framed it that way, but I think it's a little more complicated than just a money grab. At the same time, I'm having difficulty, unless they have some sort of smoking gun evidence.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, like that they're just kind of waiting to play like a big joker in a spades game. You know what I mean?
Right,
I
big
don't
joke.
know if I don't know if they have a case. Now there is something to the effect of going through all of this to make a point, even if you know you're not going to win, right? To say that stuff like this will come back to get you. But I just don't. I talked to my wife about this. She's a lawyer and she's very much like into this, and she's the same way. I can't think of a, like I said, unless there's some sort of evidence that they know they have. I find this to be a bit frivolous.
Yeah, I'm with you on
But
that.
with the exoneration of Islam and Aziz, it's, based on the fact that there were documents that were withheld. So what else has been withheld? What other information haven't we been privy to? So I think that there's merit in this exercise to try to uncover those truths, because if there was collusion between these agencies to assassinate a prominent, controversial figure at the time, I mean, that wouldn't be outside of the norm to think that, or to know that the FBI, CIA, NYPD, that these forces would have worked together to quell someone like Malcolm X.
But if they don't already have the access,
Oh, I'm not
to the
denying
evidence,
that.
right? But wait a minute, if they don't already have access to the evidence, then what makes them think the federal government is going to give them the evidence to make their case for them? I mean, they're not going to get any additional
Well, maybe they
evidence.
do. Maybe they do have some evidence that we don't know of, because for them to claim that, to even state the case, other than what Micah said, where he said maybe they're trying to state a point, I don't know what point they would be stating because, like you said, Neil, this is decades later. So there may not be a point to prove other than maybe exposing something. So they have something, they have to have some type of viable evidence to expose with. And I feel like,
I mean, what evidence is there that we wouldn't have already seen?
maybe there's another
what
key
evidence?
player, like you mentioned, the cop.
I mean, unless they
officer.
have someone that's willing, to testify, I have to believe that if this is a conspiracy on the federal level, I have to believe that any evidence has been destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, this is the FBI. This isn't like your local PD.
Yeah.
Like this is, you know, that's what these people do. They're spies, and I have to believe that you know any type of evidence of this conspiracy would have been destroyed decades ago. I mean, I may be wrong,
or heavily redacted,
stuff like that.
Heavily redacted,
right?
Where you see that sheet with
agreed.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed. But to deduct, I mean, to deduct like reasoning, I don't think that they would start a case for shock value or for monetary gain. I mean, I'm sure that they are looking for money. I'm sure they're looking for money for other reasons, but I don't think it's like a cash grab situation. I think that Malcolm X is legendary, and I think that this means a lot to a lot of people and the family, especially the daughters. I don't know how old they are, I'm sorry, but I think that they know it would mean a lot to expose some type of truth that they could have. I agree with you guys, though. It's far-fetched to believe that they have anything viable because of who they're up against. I agree. I mean, that's a no-brainer, but
I mean, I would agree with you that I don't think this is a cash grab per se. I mean, again, if they were to get $100 million, they deserve it. I mean, and we find out that the government was involved, which they probably were. At least NYPD was probably involved.
They were.
At least in the cover-up. I mean, that was clear in the $36 million case with Aziz and I forget his name now.
Islam.
Yeah, Islam. Aziz and Islam, right? So, but I do feel like this still is about headline, right? Because, you know, I feel like Benjamin Crump is starting to take advantage of these opportunities. I honestly wish he wasn't attached to be honest.
Oh, it's him behind all of this?
I wish it was someone else because then I could feel more comfortable with the fact that, you know, hey, this is just the family going after, going after the federal government for their role. But it really does feel like some headlines, money, you know. But I think that the daughters do deserve, you know, some type of retribution. I like what Micah was saying because, yeah, I don't think this is going to really help the civil rights movement at all in any way, shape, or form.
No.
But I still think it's vindication. And vindication is worth something.
That vindication would mean something to the civil rights movement, and depending on how that money is allocated, because $100 million is a big chunk of money, so this could be substantial for the civil rights movement.
That's fair if the money was used a certain way. That's fair. I'd agree with that.
Yeah. So look, I'm not.
Why do you think it's a cash grab?
The investigation.
Go ahead, Michael.
I'm not against the investigation. I'm just. I'm not hopeful of a victory.
Neither am I.
And
fair.
I mean, even if we get like a Pyrrhic victory where it's like anything is exposed, like they don't win, but like something comes of it, I'd be satisfied with that. But
right.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I just am having a hard time believing that. Also, like, I'm glad you brought it up, Neil, because I didn't want to say it, but like, sometimes I get the feeling that like Benjamin Crump is a little bit of an ambulance chaser. I hope he's doing this work pro bono. If not, then you know, I don't know. It just feels
even if he's not doing it pro bono, just the headlines enough builds his stature well enough where he, you know, he can go out and have his own Ben Crump law firm, and it still builds his wealth significantly just being attached to it.
I'm curious.
Absolutely.
What makes you guys think that what makes you guys think that Benjamin Crump is kind of after like the fame of it all, or after it for the wrong reason? Like,
Just
what
because
gives
he's
you that?
attached to literally every one of these civil rights cases that have come up. I mean, he's 90% of them in the last 5 years or whatever it is. I think. What was his first one?
Yeah, he has.
Was his first one Trayvon?
Yeah, I think Trayvon Martin
I
was
think
his
his first one was Trayvon. So I think since that one, he's been attached to virtually all of them since then. And so I just know I feel like I like the term ambulance chaser, and I agree with you, Micah. I don't think they really have a case. I mean, the exonerated men absolutely had a case because they were wrongly convicted, and there was the prosecutors didn't do their job to ensure that he was wrong. He had the evidence to properly to not convict them, right? So they didn't provide the evidence they were supposed to. They didn't do their jobs. They did things wrong. So that's an easy case, and they should have won, especially once they were able to prove it.
Right.
I just don't think there's any evidence here that they would be able to come up with, or that they have existing, where they can say the government conspired. I don't know.
And Jacqueline Robinson brings up an interesting point online. It's just given the passage of time, fuzzy memories, deceased witnesses, etc., the truth probably will never be known.
Yeah. And Mike Winter says every time there's been racial progressive movement in this country, it's been encountered with violence. Maybe they have contacted Trump rather than the other way around. That's possible. Good point.
Yeah, that's very possible too.
Yeah.
Because that's it. He is high profile, so.
Yes.
It's possible. I still think he is chasing down all of these. I really wish it was someone else attached to it. All right. We got like 30 seconds. Any final thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm not saying, and just to kind of put a bow on this Ben Crump thing, I'm not saying that he's not doing good work. I'm just saying,
agree with you.
Right.
I'm glad somebody is doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
How is he doing it? Is a question.
The work needs to be done, and like you said, somebody's doing it.
I wish more people would step up to the plate to help out. I think that's
maybe that's what I'm saying.
That's fair.
Yeah, maybe I'm feeling the same thing you're feeling. All right.
It shouldn't be just one guy.
Yeah, all the time, right?
Right.
All right.
So he's like the superhero.
Is this truth live?
Shenanigans.
I mean, it's full of a bunch of
truth.
It's
truth and lies and shenanigans.
I mean, there's a lot.
Maybe it's a shenanigans too.
I mean, they're all over the place.
All three of them.
The government. I mean,